Everyone, bonjour tout le monde. Welcome to EFA159 on this Friday, August 28th. Today, I have Mr. Greg Tizik with me, friend, colleague, business associate, partner. I've known Greg now for almost over a year and a half, like a year and a half approximately, I would say, approximately. What's interesting about my relationship with Greg is I've talked about this before on EFA, where I was intrinsically working, mentally researching, etc., on autophagy and the intermittent fasting lifestyle. And we were sitting at this boardroom table here, and we were having a conversation, and I started talking about autophagy, intermittent fasting, and you brought up ketosis, and then something I knew a bit about because of previous diet that I talked about before, and I used to live that lifestyle. And you were already into the testing out the world of intermittent fasting, correct?
Yep.
Okay, and how long you started when?
Beginning of 2019, beginning of January.
January, that's when you started?
Yeah.
Now, today's topic is falling off the wagon. And there's a reason why I'm having this podcast today on that, because we had that conversation the other day, right? And you felt that you fell off the wagon. And so to talk, just briefly, like explain why you felt that.
It's just, I still have problems with discipline once in a while, so it's hard when there's food in the house. If it's up to me, I wouldn't have any of the food around, but when it's there, sometimes I'm tempted. And I've got a young daughter, so sometimes I feed her dinner at night and pizza the other night, and I decided to. It's a slippery slope once you have one piece of pizza with her, and then from there I had ice cream with her after, and it's just feels like because I'm so insulin sensitive that I think that it does a lot of damage, and then it's like what will a couple of chips do, and before you know it, I'm a couple of days going back to my old habits.
So this is interesting here, because Greg, I love listening to understand, because you mentioned a couple of other things that you didn't mention the other day, and one of them, like you, when I look at the chips, for example, I know that I don't do processed and I don't do sugars, I can't say I don't do sugar, because there is that one small percentages here and there you're going to have it, right? But in process, there's some products out there that are processed. You got to open a bag in a box. I've talked about this before, but that's clean as possible. And the reason why I don't do those products is because I call them a drug dealer. Because the insulin body, because you mentioned something the other day about the insulin body, and I kind of said when we were discussing that too, because that's a big thing, like always in an insulin body, and that addiction is there. Two, you mentioned when you're cooking for your daughter, and kind of saying preparing food and going into the pantry, and you see all these things, right? And that's why in my household, and I really went religious on this, I created two pantries, right? A section for myself in the one pantry, a section for myself in the other pantry. I got sections for myself in the fridge and in the freezer, and my family respects that. And I did that because by removing the addiction, by removing those foods, by removing all that stuff, it removed a lot of other things that it doesn't bother me anymore at all. But what I do want is efficiency. I don't want to be searching for my clean products. And that's why I did it. I'm not searching for it. I'm not, where's my other bag of this? So I have my sections of clean products in my house. I walk into the pantry, and I won't mention names, but it's massive big box, like processed sugar, everything in there, right? And that's what you're talking about. You see that. Yeah. But by creating my own section, this is there. It's like that TV is behind you right now, and it's flashing, but it's there, but I don't pay attention to it because I know this is my clean products, right? So, but what I want to talk about, Greg, for you, because you said you fell off the wagon. You didn't fall off the wagon, right? And I wrote this, don't be hard on yourself. And the reason why I say that, it's a lifetime lifestyle. So do I have desserts? We talked about this, right? I'm going to the restaurant tonight. I will have a restaurant dessert. I have fruits and desserts daily. Every day I have fruits and dessert. I had watermelon yesterday. I made some gelato, chocolate gelato ice cream, and I had that with watermelon, right? So every day I eat that way. But what do? We talked about this. I put it inside of a calorie window, right? That's the key right there. I do not allow more than 3 calorie windows a day. I haven't had 3 calorie windows in probably a year. I've had no more than 2 calorie windows in a year. For the most part, I have 1 calorie window 6 days a week, sometimes 5 days a week, 2 days a week, maybe 2 calorie windows, usually Sundays. And I do that to fill my nutrients, right? We talked about this. One When you fell off the wagon the way you mentioned it, how did you feel?
Terrible the next day, because I eat, my body's running off glucose at that point, so it's a big difference. So it's
Difference how? Mentally, physically?
both, mostly mentally. So it's a fog. You don't know it. Most of my life, I've never been in ketosis until I started getting into ketosis, and the fog lifts, and you don't realize how sharp your focus is. So I'm usually I usually eat in a 4-hour window each day. And I find that easiest. Sometimes I'll have lunch, and if I have lunch, it actually messes me up. I'm more likely to eat more in between lunch and dinner. But by keeping with the 4-hour window, that's I have no problem with that usually, and I'm not tempted. The times I'm tempted, it's usually because I'll sneak in that extra meal in a day. But being in ketosis now regularly, I know right away it's night and day, the difference in focus.
That focus you're talking about, and people see that in people. People that live an intermittent fasting lifestyle and feel that. I'm constantly told your energy level is like up here, right? Yeah. But that comes from the focus. And you see that. You get up naturally. Yeah. When you follow your circadian rhythm, you really see that. The other thing, like like when I say it's not a setback, it's a lifestyle. You jump right back on. So that feeling you have the next day and that fogginess and all that stuff, you feel like blah, right? But if you add it to a calorie window, and it has to be nutrient dense. So when I talk about here nutrient dense and routine, fast, feast, repeat. I do that daily, okay? I fast every single day. You do that now, right? You're consistently fasting. I feast, and when I say that, there's a lot of these wording out there: fast, feast, repeat. Well, when I feast, I have a good meal. So when I OMAD one meal a day and have my dinner, it's so nutrient dense, but I still have my desserts, right? And a lot of my desserts are homemade desserts, and they're high fats and very low carb desserts. Are homemade, but I will have a restaurant dessert tonight, right? But in my feast, I will have soups, I will have salads, I will have meats and vegetables and potatoes, and I have all that stuff, all real food, right? But by filling myself, and here's the thing, I had a gentleman talk to me yesterday, and he talked about, I had a chicken salad and that kind of stuff, but I go, make sure you have enough, because if you don't have enough, that's when you get that yum, 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 right? And that's when those pantry, when you walk into, because you didn't fulfill yourself. When you fulfill yourself, you feel different when you nutrient dense eat, and when how do you feel?
Lots of energy. You can tell when you eat dead calories. When you're eating empty calories, it's just.
I like that dead calorie, because you're right. They're dead calories. They don't bring value.
Really good, yeah.
And you feel that.
Yep.
Right. So this clean fasting is key, right? And this consistency in the clean fasting, the fast, feast, repeat, the routine. If you do this routinely, what do you do every day, right? Like I tell people, move every day. I jumped on the bike this morning. It was only 3.5 kilometers, but I moved fast. I got something in. So I commit myself every day to do a routine of something, fitness, flexibility, and that kind of stuff. But if this is my routine, so that that pizza you had, if you would have had it in a calorie window, don't be hard on yourself. It's okay. It's okay. And that you said, if I move my lunch up here, I feel better. And
I've been doing this so long, I can correct it now. So if I do mess up and have the meal that I don't feel good about, it only takes me 24 hours. I'm fasting from there point on. Pay a little bit of price for that first fast, so it makes it a little bit tougher. It's a lot easier to fast when you don't eat the carbs. But by the next day, I'm back into the roll of things now, and it's all about accepting.
I love what you just said. He's in the other phase now. So no, you're graduating into phases, and what's happening with you is your mindset.
Yeah.
No, that's what's happening here.
Accepting this is the way it is for the rest of my life. It's not a diet. It's not a fad. This is just the way my body's changed. I don't need the calories. I used to, like my daughter eats more than I do. She's 3 years old. She'll eat more calories than I do, but she needs it. Yeah. I don't. I'm not exercising as much as I should right now. I just simply don't need the calories. We don't need to eat as much as we.
He says his daughter needs it. He's right. I'm not a doctor, but the experts out there, all the data, all the research, they say do not fast under 18. Okay, that was one of the rules out there. So fast over 18, but goal. Like that right there, this should be your goal, what Gray just talked about. Removing the timelines and adding mindsets, right? When you said that now that you adjust in your hours, that's what I'm gonna do. My minimum is 16 hours. You've heard me say this before. I've averaged over 20 all the time. I might have a 4 hour, 23 hours is my average Monday to Saturday on average, But I know mentally that if I want to eat, I will. If people want to go, let's go for lunch. Yeah, for the most part, 16 hours is not long. You slept half of that, the other part of the day. So if you want to go jump lunch, you should adjust. And what you just said, you adjust for the next day. So your mindset knows that. If I'm going to have if there's Easter, there's Christmas, there's funerals, you're going to have days that you're going to go off your schedule. But if you follow the routine of living a lifestyle of nutrient-dense food, repeat the feasting, meaning eat properly, fill yourself, get your receptors satisfied, live in a satisfied body. Don't feel cheated. I'm French Canadian, and I said this to you before. We had desserts all the time, right? We grew up with desserts and with everything. So I love that, right? I enjoy my wines. So I drink my wines, I have my fruits, I have my desserts, but I live a nutrient-dense routine lifestyle. And so I don't feel ever now that there's anything about a wagon. Why? Because it's a mindset. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So Jean-Guy here and Greg, EFA159. Basically, don't be hard on yourself. Don't be hard. Would you agree? Don't be hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Like live the mindset, live the lifestyle. Understand that it's a lifetime lifestyle, and you said that it's a lifetime. And when you understand that, and I said this before, you can drop me off anywhere in the world, and I don't have to prepare for nothing. I'll just adapt because the way my mindset is, and I will still maintain this lifestyle. I will still maintain that, and that clarity you have, the focus you talk about, right? Family life,
and the excess body fat comes off that you don't need.
Yeah. Like, name me something bad about any of that, right? Your family, your life, your spirituality, everything, energy-wise, everything augments, right? So Jean-Guy and Greg here, EFA159, wishing each and every one of you a most productive, energetic weekend ahead of you. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you.